Hey, so welcome back to another episode of This Old Fence here at my house. I actually installed this wire a few years ago and I knew it was cheaper and I knew it was gonna sag and I knew it wasn't as good as high tensile, but back then I was just like, that's what I had and the budget that I had for it, it'll be okay. I think it was probably like a month or two and I started to see the wire droop and it used to be nice and taut and had a lot of tension to it, and I started seeing the tension go away. And I started to see that wire sag and this low carbon wire. And over time, it has just continuously gotten looser and looser. So today we're gonna swap this wire out for high tensile wire. And that's gonna be in a high tensile profile, unlike this, where it's a low carbon wire. I never took an actual testing gauge of when I installed this wire, but we're gonna take one right now. And you guys are gonna be amazed. I mean, this thing has so much tension. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't even know if we don't want it to be here. I would really like to see it more so probably up in here. And like I said, when I first installed this wire, it was nice and tight. Another thing, when you have kids like to, just climb over the fence. It's like an instigate, because that's why this wire's here. It's so I can help climb the fence, right? No, not even close. That's why we put gates and fences. It's so that you can go through the gate and not hop on the wire. Hey, so what you got there? Let's take a look at them. Right here is where we're gonna pinch the staple. So we're gonna go forward, it's gonna grab that staple, and then we're gonna rock it back, and we're gonna pull that staple out. So what you need to do when you pull these out is save every staple, and I want you to bend them all back straight, because we're gonna reuse these, and you're gonna drive them all in with a hammer. You know that there's people that do that, right? Dead serious. They will straighten the staple to save that 15 cents. Could you just go throw it in the bucket? We'll just throw it away. We'll use a new one. But one other thing that I have to point out, we're not putting in the exact same kind of spacing wire. We're gonna go in with 2x4 versus a 6x6, but the height is still gonna be the same, and it's gonna be high tensile. So traditionally, when we remove wire from a fence, it's not this nice and pretty. Usually we roll it through a wire roller and there's a skid steer attached. And this wire gets sucked up into like a ball of wire like that big. Usually when we're rolling it up with the wire spooler, it just pulls the staples right out. So we don't have to do any of this. The whole reason that we're having to pull staples by hand is because we're salvaging the post, we're salvaging the top rail, we're just swapping out the wire. The main fence structure is just fine. Now, if you don't want to pull the staple and the wire, you're just throwing it away anyways, here's a way that you can cheat. But you want to come back and pull the staple. Take your cutters, cut in between the vertical stays, cut that wire, slide it out, and we just need to come back and pull that staple a little bit later. They're all the way down there with the fencing pliers, and this keeps me going. Scaredy cat. If you guys might be thinking now to yourself, like, well, your wire sagged because your post spacing is too far apart. That's not it either, because those posts are about 7'8" on center. It's just crappy wire. If you want to go with this wire, don't have very high expectations. I mean, it's far better than a welded wire. If I was to grade the three, welded wire is down here. Low carbon wire is right here. And right up here, up in the clouds, yeah, that's high tensile wire. Hey, we got some, hey. And it always seems to be 100% true. I mean, mechanics' cars, they usually have the worst cars. Fencer's house, they usually have the worst fence. You know why? Because by the time they get to doing their own stuff, they're just tired. But hey, we're getting there. We're stepping up in the world. So when this is all said and done, because I don't want to sit and haul this thing off, so I'm gonna take a piece of paper and I'm gonna write free on this and I'm gonna stick it on the road and somebody's gonna take it. All right, so before we get ready to start installing the new wire, I gotta run and get something. Since we are keeping the structure like I was telling you earlier, and while we're doing is swapping out the wire, to save ourselves some time, I'm gonna go ahead and weed eat that real quick so we don't have to fight the grass when we're putting up the new wire. So I'm gonna take a couple minutes, get that done, and I think we're actually gonna get the couple minutes back when we go to reinstall the wire. There you go. Probably about 22. Any sort of bolt cutter like this, small little bolt cutter, is gonna be what you're gonna need to cut this high tensile wire, because what's gonna happen if you use one of those side cutters is it's gonna shear the tip right off, because this wire is just so strong. And this right here is just nothing but a square knot. So we're gonna come on the back side, we're gonna cut that square knot. And we might have one more to cut right there. When doing this, if you just hold these all vertical, all that trash that's on there is not gonna fall to the ground and you get to pick all that up. But if you're very cautious about how you handle it and how you take it out of there, all your trash stays on your wire and you can just take it all and throw it in your bucket or throw it away. So when you're working with this wire, number one, safety glasses. You bend one wrong move, you bend down, you get poked in the eye, you're out, you're done. When working with this wire, it's a must. I just got scratched. I mean, it just came back and hit me in the face. That's just how good this wire is. If you're not bleeding, you're not winning. Yeah, you both are losing. I don't see any blood on you.
I think we're winning. We're not covered in blood.
Okay, so we're gonna take our 9s. We're gonna grab that knot. Just twist back once. It'll loosen that wrap. We'll be able to twist it right off. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna stand up the wire, and we're gonna use these quick end clips made by Strainright. We're gonna use these to terminate the net wire on this side. They're probably about right there. So we're putting a bend in it, and I'm bending it towards me. You want a nice tight bend like that. You're gonna put your clip on. As soon as you get on through the bend, drop it down like that and pull it through. And if you end up bending it too short, yes, you can go back through, rebend it, increase the length or whatever you have to do. Uh-oh, look, like that. See how I made it too short? And these do come in a 100 pack. There you go, perfect. And if you're like, oh man, those are never gonna work, well, we're gonna find out here in just a few minutes. We're gonna find out, do they hold or do they not hold? I can tell you right now that if they didn't hold, there's no way that Strainright would make this. So, just because we're doing high tensile wire with this, if you are using a low carbon wire, yes, you can use these clips. Although on the very top wire, I think it would fit through there. I think it'd just be a little bit tighter. Okay, Caden, grab that hammer and the wedges. Now we're gonna stretch around this corner, even though it's less than a 45. You're so close, but you're so far. So pull those out. So what we wanna do is we're gonna put this on there. It's like a sandwich, okay? It's like you're making a sandwich. You're gonna take your pins, you're gonna beat them in. And I'm just getting them started. So I wanna get my wedge board straight with my wire. So I'm pulling it equally. About right there. And this is the world's best come along. Although we don't call it a come along, we call it a boundary strainer. It comes with this awesome chain that's so long that we don't even know how many feet it is. And the nice thing is you can put them in your truck and they don't take up a whole bunch of room. You don't have to wind up a reel. It's just awesome. And they have multiple uses other than just fencing. If you've ever used a come along and you enjoyed every minute of it, maybe you need to try one of these and see if there's a difference. The biggest thing you want to do is you want to look down your chain and make sure that there's not a spiral in your chain, because if there's a spiral, what's going to happen when it goes through your jaws here is it's going to work your jaws all the way around. So your handles are going to continue to rotate. You're not going to have a great experience. You're probably going to hate it. You hear that wood snapping? That's a good sign. So I'm pushing away from the post. Let's go middle of the section here. And I still can't push that much in. Yeah, I don't know if I can get another one. Man, those boys in Scotland, they would put that cheater on there and they would just go crazy. I got it. Whoo! Okay, we're good. All right. So because we never got to use them before, let's go check out those quick end clips and see how those are holding. That's pretty cool. Make sure and see the link below. And these things are awesome. To me, that makes sense. And obviously you don't even have to do anything, but I can't leave the tails along. Just some sort of bend in it so that way it doesn't try to come out. But don't leave it so long that it goes through the fence though. And if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure somebody is going to let me know. I think that these are a pretty cost-effective way of tying off your fence. If you don't want to use gripples or if you don't want to use the knot, you get 100 per pack. Alright, well, we're going to need some more now. So we don't have enough wire, so we got to add more. And we're using these crimps to do that, to splice onto it. We're going to add them all the way down. And the crimps we're using is the 2.50 millimeter crimp sleeve. Again, a quantity of 100. And we could sit here and we could do this with the manual crimpers, but what fun is that when we have this awesome tool? And we're trying to match the square. Match the square, have a little bit showing on each side. Because that's like way easier than doing it by hand. Crimp it. And if you're thinking, oh, I could just use some ordinary crimp, I'll be fine. I don't need those special crimps. So these crimps actually have a little bit of grit in them that actually grabs the wire and keeps it from slipping out of the crimp. They kind of are necessary because without that, yeah, you're just gonna have problems. The nice thing about the crimps is that they're extremely strong, but yeah, it's really hard to see them. If you're gonna do a lot of crimps, 100% I would recommend the tool that I was using. If you're just gonna do a couple, I would definitely get just the hand tool. And we got this all stretched up now. We left the wedge board at the first corner down there and we stretched past it. In what we've done so far, we've used 3 boundary strainers and 2 wedge boards. Ideally, we'd have 4 boundary strainers, but I couldn't find the other one this morning. If you're gonna run 2 wedge boards, you need 4 boundary strainers or else you can leapfrog like I did, and I just tightened my bottom and took it off the bottom down there. So before we start our tie off, you wanna run up and grab me the tensioner? Thank you so much. Good job. You must be out of breath. So I think to get a fair reading, it's fair to get a reading right here at the wedge board, but then also to get another reading further beyond. We're like way up there. She's tight like a tiger. Let's go down. We're almost to that first corner. So I think it's fair to take a reading right here. So we're about a little over 250, maybe 275 or so. So we're not as tight right here. I would say we should try pull one more chain link and see if we can get it, or if something breaks, and I hope nothing does. I'm gonna get it on. That did it, that took us all the way, and I gave it one more pull, so one more link. I'm pretty happy with that. And that thing, I had to want it. And that's the one thing about this high tensile wire, you can go wild on this stuff. There is such a thing as too tight, but I don't think you're gonna be able to get it. Like we saw with Rory Sampson, those guys, I'd never seen that before, and that was just incredible. Watching those guys pull all that tension on those boundary strainers that they were pulling on, that taught me that we aren't getting this stuff nearly that tight, and we need to keep going. All right, well, we got all the tie off done down here, And we don't have our ends cut yet, but again, we'll do that after we release tension. So we're gonna go ahead and release now. Pop, 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 pop. Man, woo, that's impressive. Do the quick end clips work? Yes, they work. There's a lot of tension on this bad boy. And just so far, just looking at the wire, it's got some nice straight lines. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go staple. I don't like it stapled to the top rail. I just don't think it's necessary. So I'm not going to, and I'm just gonna clear that up right now. It's my opinion. I know some areas, yes, they would like it stapled. The reason I don't like it stapled is because I kind of feel like it curls that wire into the roundness of the rail, and I just don't like it. What I want to do is I want to match about center of the top rail, and we're going to go with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to put one staple on the top to kind of set my wire, just like I would a chain link fence. I want a nice flow to the top rail. Go like so. I'm not necessarily matching the top rail, but I'm just trying to get a nice roll to make it, I mean, because ultimately this is still a wood rail. I mean, it's going to do what it wants to do, and it's been there a long time, and I want my wire not to reflect that, but act like it's going with it. But I want my wire to go with a nice roll. So about middle again. And then as we can see, right here, we kind of got to go down. 1, 2. Try one more time. That looks pretty good. We're just a little bit above our halfway point, but we have a really nice roll to our wire, so I think I'm just gonna leave it there. All right, so there is no moving this wire whatsoever. So much better, such a higher quality product. If you're gonna be doing anything with a woven wire, you need to be looking at high tensile. And high tensile wire doesn't just come in this figure either. It comes in all different square sizes and heights. You can get all the way up to 8 foot. I swapped out to a 2x4 square. My neighbor has chickens and I got a big dog. Another reason that I swapped out to a wire like this. If I got to learn a lesson, it's time for me to share my lesson with you. And I hope you learned something about high tensile wire today and low carbon wire, and maybe which one might be better. Thanks for watching. It's Dan with SWI. We are Wyoming's Fence Company. We hope you have a good dang day.